Do you worry about what other people think of you or how to make them happy? And so maybe you change what you do or say around them in order to not disappoint them. What keeps us stuck in this pattern of people pleasing, always worried about what they think or what they need? In this video, I'm sharing 4 major regrets that I have from people pleasing for 55 years of my life. If you're stuck on the hamster wheel of always trying to keep other people happy, then keep listening, because not only am I giving you the 4 regrets that I had, but I'm also giving you the antidote to people pleasing, the exact steps I took to break this cycle. Hey, I'm Heidi. Welcome. I'm a mostly recovered people pleasing, procrastinating perfectionist, and I'm happy you're here. I lost a friend from high school this week. He was 61. And I'm 61, and it got me thinking, what would I regret if I knew that my life was coming to an end? And the biggest thing that I realized is that I regret all the time I spent people pleasing, making sure that everyone else was happy except me, seeking to be liked and accepted from other people. One of my main people pleasing hurdles to overcome was disappointing someone. And that led me to these 4 things that I'm going to tell you about. The first one is loyalty. I stayed in places much longer than what served me. I stayed in jobs. I stayed in relationships. I stayed in college. I went to college for dental hygiene, and I felt committed to staying in it, even though I realized partway through that there was something else that I would have preferred to do. Had I not been afraid that I would disappoint someone if I changed directions, I would have changed directions and gone into a different field. But this loyalty, this thinking that once I made a decision, if I changed my mind, that someone would be disappointed in me, that kept me stuck in this people-pleasing pattern. What about you? Have you stayed in places out of loyalty, or are you staying in places now, a job maybe, out of loyalty because you feel like you committed to it and that you can't change your mind? The second thing is obligation. When I said yes to something, I thought that there was no way I could change my mind. Again, because of the fear of disappointing someone. So I would say yes to things because I didn't want to disappoint someone. And then once I said yes, I couldn't turn around and change my mind because of the fear of disappointing someone. So I did things that I had said yes to, but ultimately didn't want to do, all because I feared disappointing someone. And so I thought that I couldn't change my mind, that there was no way to kindly change my mind and change directions. What about you? Do you do things out of obligation, and then maybe you show up begrudgingly, or maybe you don't even show up at all, because that's the only way that you feel like you can get out of the obligation without telling them that you've changed your mind. The third people-pleasing behavior that I regret so much is seeking external validation. Other people's approval of me is what I felt gave me my value and my worthiness. So I was constantly seeking external approval from other people. I was seeking their validation that I was worthy and that I had a place in the world. I stayed in a job, and I ended up having to get fired from that job to learn this lesson. I stayed because they sang my praises, and I thought it was genuine, and I didn't realize how much I was relying on them to validate me. And then when I got let go, it just hit that I was allowing them and their opinion of me to create my value. What about you? How often are you seeking other people's validation of you in order to feel worthy or feel accepted or feel liked or to fit in? How often are you doing that? And the fourth people-pleasing behavior that I had that I regret so much is I had expectations that situations or people would change, and once they changed, then I would be happy. When we expect people or things to change, we become victims. We become powerless to our situation because we think we have no control over our happiness, that it's dependent on other people or other things to change. So me having this when then thinking, when something changes, then I'll be happy, was very defeating. And again, it created this victim mentality that I could only be okay when everybody else was okay. This included even the expectation of me being perfect, because I thought that if I was perfect, then everything would be okay. What about you? Do you have expectations of other people or other things changing in order for you to be okay? All of this people pleasing kept me in this place of thinking I had to earn love and acceptance and respect, when in reality, I was keeping myself from that with my people-pleasing behavior. So what is the antidote to people-pleasing? The first part of the antidote to stopping people-pleasing is loyalty. It's loyalty to yourself, giving yourself what you need, staying loyal to yourself first and foremost, putting yourself first, because when you put yourself first, when you fill your cup, you can give to others. But unless your cup is full, there's nothing to overflow. There's nothing to give to others. The second part is obligation. Obligation to yourself. Again, yourself first and foremost. When you give to others first, you're giving from a place of emptiness. But when you give to yourself first, when you stay obligated to yourself and the things that you promise yourself first, then you can give to others. But until you do for yourself, you won't have that to give. Maybe you've guessed the third part is validating yourself. Validating yourself. We all have already what we need inside of us. You are valued. Your worthiness, it's inherent within you. So start seeing it in yourself and stop seeking it from outside of you. Because once you start treating yourself as the worthy, divine human being that you are, you will feel it from other people. But again, until you give it to yourself, it's really hard to receive it from outside of you. And then can you guess the fourth? Expectations. Having less harsh expectations of yourself. Get rid of the perfectionism. There's no such thing as perfect. I discovered that imperfect is not so bad, because imperfect means incomplete. And our lives are incomplete. So there's nothing wrong with being imperfect. So stop having these harsh expectations that other people or things need to change, or that you need to change in order to be worthy of a fun and fulfilling life. So that is the antidote for people pleasing, and that is self-love. So did any of these land with you? Loyalty, obligation, validation, or expectations? Are you stuck in the hamster wheel of trying to get those things from other people? And if so, what regret might that lead to in your life? If the antidote for people pleasing is self-love, which one of the 4 areas could you focus on that would help you get off of this people pleasing hamster wheel? I'd love to know in the comments below. If you'd love more videos like this, then make sure you subscribe so that you're notified the next time a video posts. About making other... Oh, shit. Do you worry about how to... Oh, really?